Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore. My name is Tom Gouker, and I will be your host today. Girls in Airports are one of my favorite jazz groups as they weave textures, melodies, and trippy Afro rhythms in a cinematic exploration. This is a bucket list interview as I have followed these guys for some time. Today, via Zoom, we are talking to saxophonist and the lead composer of Girls in the Airport, Martin Stender. Based in Copenhagen, Denmark, I pull out the 20-question interview style, and I hit him hard with those tough questions. Before we get into the interview with Martin Stender, remember to subscribe and listen, volume up or down, to the podcast. We need your support. Cash App and Venmos is available in the show notes, and the link of my sister podcast, Beatles Come to America, is also there. Let the questions begin.
Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore.
Martin Stender, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Thank you.
I'm a super fan of your band, Girls in Airports. I have been following you guys for a really long time. So when I saw that new material was coming out, I had to, get a hold of you guys. And I'm so lucky that I got you. So I'm very excited. Since I don't really know a lot about you guys, sometimes I play this game of 20 questions where some of the questions are fun and light and some of them are a little harder. So
I'm a fan of that idea.
Okay. So let's see how it turns out. Okay. Do you have a Viking from the past that is your favorite?
Not really. Ragnar Lothbrok was cool in the Viking series.
Oh, well, yeah, he was very cool, wasn't he? Who is your favorite musician of all time?
John Coltrane.
That's pretty obvious, isn't it? Why? That's the follow-up, one part of the 20 questions.
Basically, just that the music is so spiritual. Basically that.
I find that your albums are very cinematic and has a lot of emotion to it, along with the melodies. It seems very Coltrane-y. I see that you get reedy a lot, too, which I really love. I think when you do that, I go crazy. I think it's a beautiful sound.
Are you a saxophone player?
No, I'm a big music fan. It's when you talk to me, you realize, oh, he really doesn't know what he's talking about. But but that's what you get. You get some guy who interviews people. I think it disarms musicians because they're like, oh, I don't really have to be that detailed. This is just a fan, and assuming that my listeners are fans also. So, and anyone who's a musician just yells at the audio that I don't know what I'm talking about. So it kind of works out. What's your favorite movie of all time?
I like Fellini's movies.
If people from Denmark are the happiest people on the planet, why is your music at times very moody?
I doubt that we are the happiest people. I think that has something to do with the way they measure it. That like how I think we are the safest people on earth, and that sort of makes us appear very happy. But I don't think that's that. I'm not sure it's the case. I mean, I've been all over the world, and I don't buy it. A lot of suicides.
Oh, really? See, they don't talk about that.
No.
Are you religious or spiritual? And if so, what's your affiliation?
It's not really. Yeah, I guess the short answer is yes, and it's not really defined. When I was a child, I went to this. I think it was like Christian kindergarten. And I think that started something. I was I had a lot of conversations with God as a kid. And I guess if that's installed in you as a kid, it sort of stays there. I think I've always been like, if there was a big trauma, I would sort of have that side in me. And now it's, I've been very interested in all sorts of, basically boils down. So I'm just curious about all the traditions and psychology as well. In general, in Denmark, it's not a really religious country. It's not normal to be Christian here. And the normal thing, especially in Copenhagen, is to look down upon Christianity and those values that built all of Europe. I'm not like that, personally.
Is there someone in your band that really gets on your nerves? And I'm pretending to turn it off so you can tell me exclusively.
But we all get on each other's nerves, I guess. We are very different in many ways, but No, we get along pretty great.
This is your 9th album, and are you feeling a momentum and listenership or listens and stuff? Do you feel like you're like each album that you're going in, you're reaching out to more people?
We care less and more as time goes. I've stopped caring about it because it seems if we wanted a lot of streams on Spotify, it would be so easy to get that. It's just a matter of creating that kind of music, some really quiet melodic stuff. That would get us there. So I don't pay too much attention to that. But I strongly feel that we are there's a momentum in the sense that just where we are personally with our lives, and we're now 4 guys in the band, that we are all really prioritizing the group. And we've been together for, I think, 13 years or something now. Of course, there's ups and downs, and sometimes 2 of the other persons wants to do a solo project. Mm-hmm. And we're that kind of group that completely allows that, but it takes away some of the focus. And there's been a lot of kids, like the main driving force, writing the material. When I had small kids, that sort of slowed things down a lot. But we're in a really good state now. Where I have my kids are pretty big, and
yeah. In my mind, you guys have momentum. I can't talk enough about you guys. First single was called Cobble. You know, I'm drawing like there seems to be a march at the beginning with the percussion, and then it builds up into like a world beat with a steel drum.
Well, Kabul is, you remember the situation in Afghanistan where I think that must be around the time when I wrote the song, people were in panic because America and all the countries were withdrawing from Afghanistan, and so now it was people were fleeing the city and basically jumping onto airplanes and things like that. And as I was just sitting watching the news, and my hands were at the piano at the same time and watching these and the whole and the song came out, so I named it after that city. Basically, that's all it is. It doesn't sound like music from that part of the world at all, but there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope in it somehow, and in the melody. Yeah.
Do you have a bicycle, or do you prefer to drive a car?
I have a bicycle. I have several bicycles. You know, Copenhagen is a big bicycle city. It's completely flat here, and everybody bikes. There are bicycle lanes everywhere. I have one even with a battery on the back, and I have a box on so I can have my 2 sons in it, like big box in front, 3 wheels. Yeah, we don't have a car.
The second single release was November 11th, 2022. Bess, do you want to say what Bess stands for or what its Bess is?
It's an ancient deity. It was percussionist Victor came up with the idea. And I think he spent part of his childhood in Africa, and he's very much into music from all sorts of places from the world and culture. He studied sociology, most of the time the songs come from, it begins with something I write, but this particular song was something he played for me on the piano a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago actually, and it just stuck in my mind for 4 years. And when we were making this album, we brought it out and created a song out of it. So the song is very much about our beloved percussionist Victor Dubrow and his minds and his ideas, and I think that he really stands out in it as well, his role.
We're almost done. We're at the halfway part. Okay. Copenhagen is about the same population as Baltimore, about 600,000 people. And the cost of living is about the same. What is the secret that makes that city a tourist destination, as Baltimore is one of the most dangerous cities in America?
Despite the fact that they're building a lot of new houses, they're good at remaining it the way it looked for centuries. It has a lot to do with that, I guess. Yeah.
It's very pretty. If you could have one wish, what would it be?
Promised health for a very long time for me and my nearest. Yeah.
You're focused on the environmental impact of your work. You're using recycled materials for your vinyl, no CDs. Is that something that's very important to you guys?
Yeah, I guess it's becoming more and more important. Yeah, we're not experts about what exactly is the best thing we can do to save the planet, but we're trying to learn.
The latest single is Curtain of Life, your first jazz ballad. The track is a metaphor for death. The curtains of life falls, and you just drop the word falls. Yeah, it's very emotional. This album feels like it's ripped with a lot of emotion, a lot of melodies. I can't wait to hear the whole album. Casper Von is doing your artwork for this album. It's basically a circle, like a sphere, so you think it looks like the Earth. Your singles have like monocolor expressions to it from the circle, but your album cover is more of like a blood red kind of smear kind of to it. Is there any more to what I'm looking at, or is it still like an earthly being, or is it in crisis of some sort, or am I reading too much into it?
I would think you'd have to ask him. I think the best way of creating a cover is to find a person and then trust that person to create something, and not like we're not telling him how to interpret our music. And I haven't really asked him any questions about it. He said, yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Yeah.
The 4-man band now, you have 2 percussionists, no bass. Do you feel that provides you more freedom with your sound? And this is the first time you're doing a quartet.
Yeah, in some ways it frees us up, if you can say that. Just being less people in the room makes some things quicker. I mean, of course, but there are new opportunities in it, and we lost some opportunities. There was the whole thing about having these 2 saxophones that sort of melt together and you can't hear who's who. We lost that thing, but we gained something new, like being more like a lead singer, being able to like play a melody and you can hear all the tiny way you're phrasing stuff. That we gained that opportunity, I think. Yeah, we're just curious about where this would take us, and there wasn't a really good obvious pick for a person who could fill his place. He did an amazing job, Lars, for more than 10 years, and we figured this was the best way of going on. We might find a saxophonist one day, but for now we're really happy with this format. And I changed what I do. I'm the saxophonist normally. I also play a little bit of keyboards now. So we have the option of this sounds melting together with me and the keyboard player, Matthias.
I'm going to also play a sample of the track called Yield, which is going to be on this album. I have a live performance that I kind of found on Facebook where you guys did a great job.
The beat that's like that I'm soloing on top of and all that, the basic, that was actually inspired by Jolene, the song by, what's her name, Dolly Parton.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it started, that thing. And it doesn't sound at all like Jolene now.
Oh, but that's so cool. All right, now I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again. Whoever is posting your Facebook page is creating a great blog with high quality pictures, awesome sound, and really thoughtful communication. This isn't really a question, it's just a thought that I looked at your work, and whoever is doing it, I recommend people who are listening to this interview to subscribe to your Facebook page. Whoever's doing it, it seems really thoughtful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's a good collaboration.
Number 20, we made it to the end here. If you know one thing to be true and you want to share it with the world, what would it be?
I would say relationships matter. Definitely. We are different from most other musicians in the sense that we really stuck together in this small group. I think it's also the truth in my life in other regards that family just matters so much. But also in your career, the relationships is kind of the roots of who you are. And it's been a privilege for me to have a work where that was how it was.
Martin Stender from Girls in Airports. And I thank you so much for participating in Something Came from Baltimore's 20 questions today. You survived it.
I did, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Now, would you consider that to be a wacky interview, or is that kind of fun? Because I can cut it down a little. It'll be a lot tighter.
I don't consider it wacky at all. I think it was a great interview, and I think I'm so used to another format that begins with, why are you called Girls in Airports?
I hope you enjoyed the interview with Martin Stender from Girls in Airports. If you are hearing about them for the first time with this interview, I am honored to turn you on to the band. The new album is called How Is It Now, with the release date of March 24th, 2023. The show is over, and everyone have a great day.
Something came from Baltimore.